Back with Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. This is a 1930 Britain campaign in which just trying to see what happens when you flood the North Sea with dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of light cruisers. We've got 60 right now in the starting fleet here in the first months of the war, and there's 16 more building. It was 12. I just added 4. And obviously our budget is letting us do that. Almost literally more money than I know what to do with, even if we had a more conventional fleet with a lot more capital ships. I don't know, that seems like a lot. In any case, we also have our 2 battleships, which I look at them, which I designed to vaguely resemble. I didn't try to recreate it entirely, but it's kind of got a not Rodney, I keep saying that, a Nelson class layout with all 3 16-inch triple turrets up forward of the superstructure and the propulsion plant and the superstructure well aft. Kind of interested to see how these do in battle. It has obvious drawbacks, primarily speed at 23 knots, which is pretty slow in 1930. The third turret having obviously a pretty restricted firing arc, and then just the fact that main armament in general cannot fire directly behind. Although this middle turret does have a pretty good field of fire, cut out only by the superstructures itself, so it's probably a, I don't know, maybe a, I doubt that her cutout is even as much as 30 degrees. In any case, that's kind of where we're at. This campaign just started. We just finished the 3rd month of the war. So far there's been a few battles, and I think it's probably set a pattern that we're likely to see repeatedly, and that is convoy battles. The game likes to generate those for cruiser classes, and 1 versus 1 cruiser duels. Thus far, we've done quite well against the enemy's light cruisers and destroyers. The heavy cruiser has proved, I'm going to say, inconclusive. It has been difficult to bring the heavy cruisers to a decision, so to speak, because the German heavy cruisers are fast. Our light cruisers are 33 knots, and the German heavy cruisers are 33.9. And so the typical pattern has been that we engage in a convoy battle. There's a heavy cruiser and some lighter ships on the other side defending the transports. We wreck the smaller warships and the transports. Meanwhile, the German heavy cruiser has been staying at range, not disengaged, but actually, for the AI, I'll say doing a pretty good job of maintaining itself at an effective range for its guns without overcommitting. And then that heavy cruiser is left as the lone remaining enemy ship, and again doesn't completely run away but maintains its distance. I don't think this is a typical AI behavior, but in this case, with a ship that is very slightly faster than our own, it's difficult for our light cruisers to close and make their 6-inch guns rapid fire using HE. Difficult to get to a range where that volume of fire can have a real effect. We came a little bit closer in the last battle, but essentially in that case, ran out of time, and even as much ammo as our cruisers have, they also ran low on ammo as well. Even without the time, I am not 100% sure that we would have had the ammunition to sink the heavy cruiser at the end of the battle. In any case, that's kind of how the war has gone so far, and we will press on to April 1930. Another convoy battle in the Baltic, just off Kiel. And I've been seeing a pattern of this too since the patch, and it may be before the patch too. I'm not going to say it's a patch thing, but so many of the convoy battles that we have been seeing, and regular duel battles as well, not just convoys, have really been clustered very close in to enemy ports. You know, we've had clusters of battles right here off Wilhelmshaven, and right here off Emden. We've had cruiser duels before just off Kiel. And this includes in previous campaigns, post-patch as well, not just this one. And then likewise, the AI in return, we've had some battles we had one very close to Yarmouth in the last campaign. I don't know if that's just random battle generator randomness, but it's kind of happening often enough that it seems there's a pattern to that. Okay, what do we got here? We have 2 light cruisers, 2 combat veterans. It keeps picking the same ships over and over. This time against a battlecruiser, 45,000 ton battlecruiser. Huh. Okay, so I think what we're going to try to do here is it's got the R, so we'll see how far away from the transports it is. We'll go in and we will attack the convoy, and then we will see what the characteristics of the German battlecruiser are, and depending on the speed differential, we may be able to get in there and get a torpedo attack. No, the battlecruiser is already within spotting range. So I don't think that and we've seen this in the last couple convoy battles too, compared to pre-patch, the enemy warships are in escort are spawning closer to their own transports than they were before. Which we've seen already. It's just, it's emerging as a solid, consistent pattern rather than maybe a one-off. Seen it often enough now. Which is alright. It makes it more difficult to just, murder the transports with impunity before their escorts are even sighted. On the other hand, I can't see that the Moltke is even firing at us yet. And just up smoke because, they do have a 4-inch gun. And when they're all, and every one of them has one, so there is some incoming fire. You gonna shoot these guys like right next to you? Here, take that guy out. Okay, Molka's firing now. "13-inch guns with a relatively modest amount of 6-inch secondaries for the AI. Actually, a pretty decent looking setup. Let's see what it looks like momentarily. Right, transport's done. Okay, let's have a look here at Moltke. It's actually not a bad looking ship. It's a little spread out fore and aft. You know, the stacks, at least one of them could have gone in the superstructure and maybe saved some of this space in the middle, scrunched everything together, made it more compact, which would have improved stability. All right, 45,000 tons. That's pretty big. .6 knots, few bulkheads, standard crew. The AI does tend to, I know I've said it before, but you know, I can't assume everyone watching has watched everything else. The AI tends toward few bulkheads a lot. I would say at least 60 to 70% of the time it builds its ships with few bulkheads. "13-inch main battery, 5 dual turrets, and 6 6-inch triples." Oh, it does have some smaller secondaries, although not. Where are they? Apparently 2? Is that right? I guess so. 2 4-inch duals. Fair amount of 3-inch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 3-inch triples. And a few little 2-inch perched on top of the superstructure. Looks like about 6. And what do we got? They've got a few underwater torpedo tubes in the hull. Looks like 6 of them. Unless they're, got to make sure when you're looking at underwaters, don't forget to double check the fore and aft. Don't appear to be any. And those torpedoes are 21-inch standard propulsion, which gives them a 14.8 kilometer range. And in fact, they have fired. There's torpedoes in the water somewhere. The fact that they're standard propulsion, though, means we should get a pretty decent spotting range on them. And they do have increased ammo allowance for those torpedoes. But, and this is significant, reduced ammo for gunnery. And we saw in the last campaign that can be an issue for a capital ship, and could come into play if and when our Nelsons ever. Oh, are you going to clear this torpedo? Oh, ooh, wow, okay. I should have just kept going straight there. And I also should have put on torpedo avoidance, because Cassandra blundered right into it. Okay, alright. I'm kind of falling into bad habits there. I'd gotten better at slowing things down, and in the last campaign, to deal with torpedoes, and I kind of reverted to bad habits there. Well, you know, if she were to sink, we'd only have 59 light cruisers left. That would be disastrous. That said, okay, I don't really have a pair of cruisers anymore. We sank the convoy. I'm not going to speed in there with one healthy light cruiser. Well, on the other hand, she might need to, here, Cassandra, detach, retreat. I'm not just going to have Phaeton run off and leave her to her fate. She's going too slow. She's already the target. Looks like might be shifting her fire to Phaeton. She is indeed. .5% with those 13-inch guns. Kind of suspect she might maneuver much as we've seen the heavy cruisers doing. Yeah. She's moving away, but I don't think it's really disengaging as much as just kind of maintaining speed and reducing the closure rate, which is exactly what she should be doing, frankly. Mitigate the threat of my torpedoes, and leverages the range of his obviously much larger guns. Our saving grace is that those guns are not all that terribly accurate. Molka has delivered 2.4k damage. A big chunk of it in that torpedo, of course. I wonder if that highlights. $17. He's done 550 damage with his 13-inch, a smattering with his secondaries, and about 1,800 damage with that torpedo. Yeah. And smoke up again. Cassandra is making about 12 knots, and as far as I can tell, cannot actually spot Molka directly. Hopefully that means that Molka cannot spot her directly. Even firing HE, I'm just getting a lot of blocked. Getting a lot of hits. It's just most of them are being blocked without even starting a fire. So far, Phaeton has taken virtually no damage. Actually, it's taken 15 hits, but only 68 damage. So I guess that must have been just... That was probably from 4-inch fire from the transports. There's a little fire there. But eventually, one or two of these 13-inch rounds is going to hit. Eventually. Like there. Just jinx, and there. Just jinxed myself. Especially now that our smoke is dissipated and we're on a... Oh no, okay, here we go. Now we can smoke up. Okay, this time I may actually avoid torpedoes. My big screw up on that lap. No, he's closing now. He's turned around. Okay, we got a torpedo opportunity here. Let's go save. Okay, now, immediate. Go around, let's give him the port side. Fire. 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 Normal. Three torpedoes. Another spread launched. Hard right rudder. Avoid his torpedoes. I think it's at least one more. Sounded like maybe two. No, stay in his stern. Oh my goodness. Nice. I kind of thought he was going to do like, you know, and initially he did. The Molka was moving away, maintaining distance like I was talking about, which is what the heavy cruisers had done to us before. And then he turned and came and closed for a close range engagement. I did not expect that. And let's see. Cassandra hit with 75% of those torpedoes. And she's got a quad launcher, so she fired 8. So I guess 6 of them. 6 torpedoes hit Molka. Wow. Okay. That's the first capital ship lost, well, it's the first capital ship appearance in the war on either side, and it winds up with the Germans losing one of their two battlecruisers, now down to one. Okay, I think that will do for this episode, and we will press on to May next time around. Thank you for watching.